The following scenes of this video are not based on a true story. Bayside High School does in fact have clean, healthy water. Please continue to drink it. Thank you.
Hello, 911?
Police!
Reagan, I think we have a problem on our hands.
Let's check their pulse.
No pulse here.
They're dead.
No pulse here.
They're all dead.
This looks like action for the agricultural department.
Oh no!
A few moments later.
Good afternoon, Agriculture Agency.
Why are we here?
We ask the questions here.
What pollutants are found in the water?
Well, the main pollutants from agricultural runoff are manure, which have parasites and can get into drinking water and cause illness. Fertilizers have nitrogen and can deplete oxygen from water. And pesticides, which can kill aquatic animals with ammonia.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, well where do these come from?
They come from agricultural runoff, mostly cows and farms.
Quite interesting.
How are they measured?
They're measured in concentration.
Well, can we see the effects?
Well, there's parasites that can get into drinking water that cause illness, death, and even blue baby syndrome.
What can you do to prevent this? Because you clearly didn't do it. We have 4 dead kids on our hands.
Yeah, man. 4 dead kids, not just 5.
You can follow the 4-point plan, which is reduce dirty water around the farms, improve nutrient use, carry out a land risk assessment for slurry and manure, and manage your water margins. You can carefully plan all storage and handling arrangements, maintain a sustainable distance from any water source when applying fertilizer and handling waste or pesticides.
Reagan, you see, this just doesn't give me answers. I think we're gonna have to move on to the Industrial Agency.
12 seconds later.
Good afternoon, Industrial Agency. So, according to my preliminary research, in the United States, the industries contribute to more than half of the total water pollution.
Is this what killed those kids? What effects did this pollutant have on the environment?
Well, most industries use large amount of water. It also includes the heavy chemicals, harmful chemicals, radioactive waste, and even the organic sludges. Soil pollutions, air pollution, wildlife extinctions, and global warmings.
Well, where does this come from?
Industrial water pollutants is caused by the discharge of harmful chemicals and compounds into the water. Some industries still rely on old and outdated technologies that produce a greater amount of pollutants. Nuclear reactors also a major source of thermal pollutants along with power plants. Industrial wastewater can increase the murkiness of water, which can prevent sunlight from reaching the bottom of the water bodies.
How are they measured? So, high-quality air pollution data is needed by air regulators and managers to implement and develop the effective preventative and mitigation strategies to protect air quality.
Well, how could this have been avoided? It was quite obvious that you didn't do it in the first place.
So, such industries should redesign their manufacturing processes to reduce the amount of pollutants and operate their own on-site treatment systems. Consumer pressure is also necessary to develop company awareness of pollution issues. A government agency also should implement certain environmental regulations, and they can implement a levy or tax plan which would make polluters pay a fixed amount of money for pollution. Also, a cap-and-trade system where incentives are awarded to companies which reduce their amount of pollution, which would lead to the fixation of the amount of emissions from pollution.
Detective Reeves, I'm still befuddled.
Me too.
I think we'll have to call in the mining industry.
2 hours later.
Good afternoon, mining industry.
Good afternoon.
What type of pollutants are we dealing with, and where do they come from?
The type of pollutants are arsenic, sulfuric acid, and mercury, not the plant, the element, which leak into the water, usually by Machines.
No.
How are they measured?
We measure these pollutants in a variety of ways, such as testing for the pH contents, and then using various forms of spectrometry.
They can cause a variety of health problems, such as heart disease, skin lesions, and cancer. Not the zodiac sign, but cancer.
What can we do to prevent this?
Ways to reduce mining pollution: we use neutralization by adding bases to counteract the pollutant, or we can start using things like chemical oxidation to render the pollutants inert.
Quite interesting, Detective Reeves. I think we can come to a conclusion now.
I think so too, but we should talk to legislation first.
12 o'clock midnight.
Mr. Legislator.
We have some questions for you. So we thought we had a conclusion about the death of these children, but we're struggling. Can you tell us the difference between non-point and point sources?
Of course. So a point source is the discharge of pollutants into bodies of surface or underground water at specific locations through drain pipes, ditches, and sewer lines. And then non-point source pollution is broad and diffuse areas where rainfall or snowmelt washes pollutants off the land into bodies of surface water.
Interesting.
That's quite interesting. Well,
That'll really help with our research.
are there any laws that protect water quality?
So you see, the Clean Water Act that establishes the basic structure for regulating discharges of pollutants into the waters of the United States and regulating the quality for the standards of water. And then there's the Safe Drinking Water Act, is the federal law that protects public drinking water supplies throughout the nation.
I think that reaches a consensus.
I think it does too.
Thank you very much.
One eternity later.
Wait, I got it.
What?
It has to be due to the oil spillage in Oceana Naval Base.
You're a genius. Case
So tell the
solved.
world.